Okay, class, picking up where we left off at, we had x was 0 and also x is 1.75, or you could have wrote it as 7/4. Now we come here to b. We basically set b up the same way we did here. We need to multiply this out, which will give us 4w squared minus 12w equals to w squared plus 4w plus 12. So you will put both of these in your calculator. This will be your y1. This will be your y2. Now the graph that would be given to you would be similar, not exactly like this here. Okay, so this will be approximately, because we will round it to maybe 2 decimal places, it'll be a negative 0.67 will be one of your answers, and then x equals 6 will be your other answer. So these will be your final answers. Now, we come here to note. It says when one side of an equation is 0, the graph of that side, y equals 0, is the x-axis. So it's the x-axis. So the intersection points you are finding are really the x-intercepts. Or zeros. Example 4, it says solve x squared minus 2x minus 8 equals 0 by hand and by graphing. Include a label sketch of the graph. What are the solutions in relation to the graph? Okay, first of all, we need to factor this here, which we already know how to factor. That will give us the factor of x minus 4 and x plus 2. And we know that that will give us that equals 0. Okay, so we will set both of these equal to 0, x minus 4 equals 0, and x plus 2 equals 0. So this will give us x is 4, and this will give us x is negative 2. So basically what is happening here is, with our sketch of the graph, we will have two values. And it will be a parabola. So we have a value here, which will represent negative 2, 0. And a value here that will represent 4, 0. So now it says what our solution in relation to the graph. Now we could leave this as this here, but sometimes your solution should be written as an ordered pair, but we don't necessarily have to do that here. So x is 4 and x is negative 2 is your solution. Okay, now we go to example 5. It says find the x-intercepts of f of x is equal to 4x cubed minus 12x squared minus x plus 3 by hand. Verify by graph and include a label sketch. Okay, first of all, we have 4 values here. But before even we do that, we know f of x is really y. So basically we would group these first 2 values here, and we could factor out a 4x squared. And we would be left with x minus 3. We group these second 2 values here. Since this is negative, what we factor out must be negative. We can factor out a negative 1. And that will leave x minus 3 as well. So we have 4x squared minus 1 in one parenthesis and x minus 3 in another parenthesis. Now this f of x being y, which means that we're trying to find the x-intercept. So f of x will actually have to equal 0. Because remember, with the x-intercept, y is always 0. And f of x represents y. So now, this right here is the difference of 2 squares. So before we set everything equal to 0, let's take care of this difference of 2 squares. It'll be 2x minus 1, 2x plus 1, x minus 3, and they all equal 0. So we'll set each one of these equal to 0. So then this will end up giving us x is 1/2. This will give us x is a negative 1/2. this will give us x is 3. So now, if we did the graph according to what you should have gotten on your calculator, you can do it like this here. And remember, this is just a sketch. So you can do here, here, and about here. And so basically, our final answer, we will have our ordered pairs of 3, 0, negative 1/2, 0, and also 1/2, 0. And just like I told you with the earlier problem, we could just go back to the earlier problem and write our answer as an ordered pair. So we have 4, 0, comma, negative 2, 0, just to keep everything uniform. And we are done.